Welcome back to Cub Cadet. Today we're finishing up the dismantle job on this donor machine, this 782D. So we're down to the transmission and we're going to take it out and you're going to see why in the other chassis that I have here, why I put the different transmission in it. It's unbelievable what I found, but it worked. We're going to do the procedure, never sweat taking out one of these transmissions. It doesn't take very long. We'll try to do it in live time and you'll see that it's a very, very simple thing to take out. The first thing you want to do is unhook the brakes. Now this one here, they just use these clip pins. Take the dowel pin out. Your brakes are unhooked on this side. We'll come to the other side. We'll do this. It doesn't take a lot of tools to do this job. Show how this pedal works here. When you press down on your pedal, that activates your brakes on this rod. This rod here is your neutral. As you can see, right there, will move. Right there, automatically sets your transmission back to 0. Right to neutral. So we're going to pull out that clevis pin. I have to pull out the pin. I thought I had that out, but I got a little bit ahead of myself, I guess. I have to go to the other side. It's hell to get old, you can't see. There. You're all unhooked. Now, this dash is already off, but this is where your control goes for your Selecto. It takes a 1/2 inch and a 7/16 to take that off. But this one here is already out because we already transferred some of that to that machine over there. But we're going to get a floor jack here underneath, and we're going to pick it up a little bit. We'll get our jack stands. Now, one thing nice about these older kits, you can use the floorboard pegs. This is where your step is on your machine. You just put them underneath there. And we're going to take the wheel off. Now we'll put this wheel back on. I've got one tool I'll have to go to my toolbox to get. You always forget one thing. You need a 9/16 ratchet wrench. And we're going to unhook it from the frame. Now I noticed prior to filming that they used Allen bolts. 5/16 they used. It'll take to extract that. When we get to the other side, you'll see why I changed transmissions. Now this transmission here, I will admit, it really was tight. There was one thing it really was. Now, don't be surprised if you bust one of these bolts inside there. Now keep your bolts close because you will have to put them back in or it will leak oil. Because your oil's right up there. Now this transmission here also just had a service done on it. And it even has a brand new Wix filter on it. It's obvious this transmission's been out before. I believe that's cross-threaded a little bit. see how much pressure's on that bolt in a second. Still not all the way out. Yeah, it was cross-threaded. Okay, now we'll take the Allen screw out, or Allen head. This might be a little bit of a difficult situation. I'm going to use a universal. Put the wheel back on. Only need to put one back on. Let's go across on the other side. Now you're going to see why I decided to change the transmission. Pull that 9/16 over there. We're going to pull the brake off. Now this is why we decided to change the transmission in this. This bolt broke off. They put gasket maker in there to seal it off. It actually worked. I'm very impressed that it worked. I cannot believe I didn't have any oil dripping or anything from this area. But that's why I decided to change the transmissions in them. Now, usually you don't have to if you have regular 3/8 bolts. You don't have to pull the brakes. But don't be surprised if you ever have to pull these brakes that you bust a bolt inside them. They're very common. It's a white metal aluminum, and they bust very, very simply. So now we're going to go back. We're going to take this one out. We're getting close. 5/16 Allen head. Obviously, we only have to pull the rear bolt. I'm totally amazed that the gasket maker would hold the oil in it. Now, don't be surprised you can't turn them with your fingers either. Now, when you put these back together, make sure you put some type of anti-seize or something on them. Yes, in the factory they have Loctite on them, but don't put it back in because you do not want to bust a bolt inside your axle housing. Because if you do, you have to remove the rear plate, take the clip out of the differential to take your axle housing off. Then you have to extract the bolt. So that's just a tidbit of information you want to do. We have one more bolt right here. This side, the bolt's coming off pretty easy. Now, the transmission won't tip down, and the reason why it won't tip down after you take these bolts off, when they assemble them, they're all in a line. And this has this L shape right here in the frame, so they won't drop down. But the L shape only goes to right there. Your bracket comes from the bottom up here, so it won't let it drop. So don't worry about it dropping down on you. We're loose. Put the wheel back on. Okay. And we'll let the floor jack down just a little. Transmission. Now, one thing like I was telling you, you want to put your bolts right back in. This one must not have had the oil right up to the top because usually they're already starting to leak by now. But here's your transmission out. It wasn't the worst job in the world, so tackle it at any time. If you have any questions or comments, please like and subscribe to Cub Cadets. Thank you.